This CBS 19 weather special is sponsored by Stonewater Roofing and Gas and Supply.
Good evening, everyone. I'm CBS 19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. Welcome to our fall weather special, Seasonal Shift. And tonight, this special is really all about things that are shifting this fall.
And what's more fall than football?
That is for sure. And so we thought it would be appropriate to come to a football game to start talking about the shifting seasons.
And as the season shifts, we see a shift in where the animals are. The Great Migration happens in the fall, in addition to a shifting allergy season.
And another thing that could be shifting is shifting tornado data. In fact, Tornado Alley could be shifting too.
Have you ever noticed that you feel a little better in the fall? Your mood's a little lighter? Well, is it imagined or is it science? We went to the experts to find out.
We're going to start with 2 shots of espresso. We'll grind those fresh.
Grinding coffee beans is year-round, but at Jump Shot Coffee in Tyler, cooler temperatures mean adding spices.
Well, that's finishing brewing. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab some of this pumpkin spice syrup.
Jump Shot owner Victoria Sidnor knows her customers want pumpkin and other seasonal spices when the weather cools.
So the spices just kind of warm everything up and just give it a very overall really good flavor.
Research shows cooler temperatures and seasonal spices might have a positive psychological effect on us. But why? We came to UT Health Tyler to ask Dr. Shiva Reddy.
But I think that smells make people nostalgic, and nostalgia increases your mood, and anything that elevates your mood is going to make you feel better.
The autumn spices are just one mood booster for Rachel Renner and the rest of the Tyler Junior College Apache Bells.
I feel like in the fall, it's known for like vegetables and its spices, and I feel like because it's so cool, it makes me just feel healthy.
Add in cooler temperatures, lower humidity, and a return to routine. And these days, there's an extra pep in the step. Just ask Coach Christy Evans.
I do. I think, again, it's with the fresh air. You come out and you take big breath, and all of a sudden every kind of thing just kind of clears up. That's, for me, that works.
In the summer, I'm like, what day is it? Or what time is it? So in the fall, when I'm constantly on my schedule, then I know what's going on and I'm hyper aware of things around me and just what I'm doing.
Dr. Jamin Blood specializes in child psychology at UT Health. He says a regular routine is important when it comes to mental health, and fall is just what the doctor ordered.
So they do get a lot of benefit from returning back to school, from the social benefits and the more physical activity, what we call behavioral activation, just up and doing things can really help increase mood.
I get a little sad in the summer because we're not here and we're not dancing with each other, but we're back together. And I think the camaraderie especially is amazing because you have band, you have bells, you have football, all together working to create such a great Saturday night for our families and everyone in Tyler.
That's why football games, fall festivals, and other gatherings are important. And there are 2 big fall holidays, Halloween and Thanksgiving, that boost mental health.
I love fall is the best time for holidays. I personally love October. It's when my birthday falls. So I love Halloween and anything that has to do with October.
So I would say that my favorite part about it is coming together as my family, because I have a really big family.
So holidays are a great kind of built-in way to do it. It's easy to get excited about, and I absolutely think that it has so many benefits.
But not all the fall feels are good vibrations. The seemingly perfect conditions can have pitfalls, especially for anyone who spends a lot of time outside. Just ask the Apache Bells.
I have seasonal allergies like crazy, so when we come into football season, I'm always the one on the field who's like, I need a tissue, so that's definitely a struggle.
Sunburn and bug bites, that's really big for our girls. Sometimes we have girls that are allergic to grass, and then they do their jump splits, and then they start itching. We've had bee stings out here before.
Which brings us back to fall spices. Cinnamon and ginger both are known to have some health benefits.
Cinnamon actually has high antioxidant properties, so you get those benefits. Ginger has anti-inflammatory properties.
It's good news for Jump Shot Coffee. They'll keep the spice-flavored coffees flowing.
And then in November, I'm going to start merging over into maple flavors.
And hopefully keeping an improved mood and mental health going into winter. In Tyler, I'm CBS 19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony.
Well, fall is officially here in East Texas, and that means that we're transitioning from the warmth of summer into the coolness that we see in winter. And usually we have our first freeze still during the fall season. That comes in November, usually on November 13th. However, due to the warmth and the warming of the summer that we've been seeing, that first freeze has been held back further in the year. So according to data from Climate Central, we've been adding 2 days to the time that we usually see our first freeze. So it's held back 2 days farther into the year. But that is not just us that we're seeing that. We are seeing that across other parts of Texas. Out toward El Paso, their first freeze is coming around 2 weeks later in the year than what they saw 50 years ago. And that's all a result of the warming summers, which are just keeping the freeze from making it into our area. Not only are we seeing the freeze staying later in the year, we're also seeing that last freeze during spring be held back earlier and earlier in the year. So we're seeing across the U.S. the first fall frost is about 5 days late, and the first spring freeze is coming 5 days early. So that means that we're tracking an elongated growing season across the U.S., approximately 10 days for the whole nation. But what that means, we're also seeing an elongated allergy season as well. So you might be sniffing and sneezing a little bit longer into the year. The big thing that we're seeing during fall with this is ragweed is impacted. Across the U.S. or across the central part of the U.S., we see around 13 extra ragweed pollen days per year. But if you suffer from allergies, don't worry, there are things that you can do to kind of get ahead of that. You can always monitor the pollen count, and on days when the pollen is high, try keeping your car or home windows closed to keep the pollen out and away from your nose. And of course, you can consult with an allergist if you feel that that will help you, and they can help mitigate some of these issues. But of course, make sure that you are staying weather aware and keeping up with the pollen as we get through the rest of the fall season. In studio for CBS 19, I'm Sarah Blue.